All right, these are We the People News. One more time at it. Not attorney, not giving legal advice. Educational purposes only. Why? Because it's the only thing I can do because I'm not a bar member. Okay? Never signed a contract with them. And I don't want to be a criminal. And we just never look straightforward. We always look around us, be able to protect ourselves by any means necessary. Use the Second Amendment. Arm yourself with knowledge. Now, that being said, some people out there misconstrues the Second Amendment. There is weapons, but paperwork in your arms to take to the courthouse is a weapon towards the courts or whatever filings you do, right? That being said, I want to get something before we go a little bit further off my chest. All right, there is a Supreme Court judge that passed away in Alpine, Texas. I can't think of his name for the life of me. A very good judge at the time, but or a very knowledgeable judge. I can't say he was a good judge. But he talked like he was a good judge. But the funny thing is, he always ruled on the statute and never the constitutionality. He never went against Congress, and he admit that we never rule against Congress, and that is their job. All right, their job was not to rule against us. It was to uphold the Constitution for one side or the other. He also admitted that attorneys actually don't know the law, or the real law, and not like they once was. Okay, so just look him up when you find out who the judge did passed away and all that kind of stuff, and look up some of his videos he did. He talked about these things in public, and we just kind of sit there and listen to him and just blew certain words out of our heads thinking he was a good judge. All right. Now, there was another type of judge, don't know his name, maybe you guys will, that was pretty regular on Fox. Now, he talked like he was a good judge, and he talked about more of the Constitution. But he still talked more on the statute, calling it a law, but he never said whether that statute mated within the guidelines of the constitutional authority. He just talked about the statute being a law and they must do this and this and this. People, you got to ask yourself, does the statute coincide with the Constitution? Every single thing of the Second Amendment that everybody's fighting in the Supreme Court today due to Bruen, right, is statutories. Because it says, shall not be infringed. All right? If they went by the Constitution, the Supreme Court says all these statutes need to be dropped. And there should be no more Supreme Court opinions about this, except the minor ones. But this non-gun thing, this, that, here, getting a permit and all this kind of stuff, right? Majority of the statute is a bypass. What Congress is doing in the administrative section, passing it on to the president of the administrative, and since business is a creature of the state or the creature of federal government, business license, okay, what they are doing is telling the corporations, if you want to stay in business, then you must go out and violate people's rights. All right? Now, the corporation itself is violating your rights to follow the guidelines that Congress is violating your rights. But Congress is not violating your rights directly. All right? In a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, they are. Okay? ATF, for one. Okay? Statutory. The statutories tell them to go break into people's houses and confiscate red tag laws. Okay? Shall not be infringed is not a complicated thing. All right? That being said, let's proceed forward. Oh, side note. There is more pro se's out there than there have been in a long, long time. Due to, one, they're having a hard time finding attorneys. Two, that they don't trust attorneys anymore, less and less every year. And the pro se's are learning and putting it out on YouTube and other formats how corrupt the system really actually is. Now, I cannot tell you whether statutory is better than what this guy is doing. All I can tell you, behind the closed doors, when you open the veil, something's not right. The courtroom is full of muck on the ground. I'm not going to use the other word for YouTube purposes, you know. But, and then they just kind of get a shovel and they splatter it all over the wall. And then they go turn around and hide their oath of office from you. Is it easily accessible? When you can tell that judge, I want to see your oath of office, all of them. Is it in the courtroom for your inspection when the Supreme Court told them they had to do it? And when you challenge jurisdiction, they must tell you how they have jurisdiction. But they don't do it, and then you got them attorneys getting out there and saying, "Oh, he's a citizen."
Talked about as one of the reasons for separation from the tyrant in the organic law of the Declaration of Independence. For transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for imposing taxes on us without our consent.
Pretended offenses. In other words, what he's saying, where is the victim? Who did I harm, cause, loss, damages to? And they can get subject matter jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction, because they became a real victim. The state has never become a victim. And I challenge Mr. and Mrs. State of Texas, go into the court and take that stand in writing. That calls them to be a victim.
Those are two of the list of grievances in the Declaration of Independence. Janet Yellen and her predecessors used their minor estate entity, Glenn Winningham Byrne, putting the demandant into bondage and enslaving the demandant as collateral for their minor estate, as described in 31 CFR 363.6. Because
now, generally, Janet Little, however you pronounce her name, right? She's the one that's kind of doing the banknote section, right? She's kind of basically the budget, playing, jumping from one side of the wall to the other side of the wall with these banknotes. She's the head girl about the banknotes.
An entity includes an estate of a living person, such as an incompetent or a minor. And this is part of 31 CFR 363.6. And a minor can be an individual who has attained the age of 18 years but has not yet taken control of the securities in his or her minor account.
Banknotes.
And that's in 31 CFR 363.6. That section's actually not very big. I think I'm going to put that up here too. This is prohibiting.
Right.
Sorry?
363.6 is very obtuse. Not big, but it's obtuse.
Whatever. This is prohibiting the free exercise of the demandant's religious beliefs as a Christian, because the demandant has a right to own property under natural laws found in the Holy Bible, and the Vatican Roman cult is satanic because it's bringing dead things to life, or necromancy, and prohibited. And this is Deuteronomy 18:10-12. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord, and because of these abominations the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee, because they are subjecting to the demandants to their satanic religious ceremony under 18 U.S.C. 247. Whoever, in any of the circumstances referred to in subsection B of this section, intentionally obstructs by force or threat of force any person in the enjoyment of that person's free exercise of religious beliefs, or attempts to do so, shall be punished as provided in subsection D. The circumstances referred to in subsection A are that the offense is in or affects interstate or foreign commerce. Under the color of law, 18 U.S.C. 242. Whoever, under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, 31 CFR 363.6 is a regulation, or a custom, willfully subjects any inhabitant of any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the constitutional laws of the United States, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year, or both.
Now listen to the key words. Inhabitant, resident. Inhabitant, resident. Two different things. Okay? Dominion over land. Three different things. Okay? And let's go ahead.
And because their bar members were telling them to do it, it's a conspiracy to threaten, oppress, and injure the demandant in the free exercise of his right to own land.